Hey dudes, this is Joetta McClain, Nikki, in George Romero's Season of the Witch, and you're listening to Tommy Throwback Kovac on Splat from the Past. Tommy is such a sweetie. I was so thrilled to be on his podcast.
Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things could get totally radical. Now today is my 800th episode of Splat from the Past, and I will be interviewing Bonnie Hinzman, the widow of legendary cinematographer Bill Hinzman, who worked with George Romero on so many of his movies, from Night of the Living Dead to the Crazies. And I'm having her on the show today to talk about his life and his career and his legacy. Bill passed away in 2012, and I want to ask about his work with George, his relationship with George, and everything, and anything that she may have saw on the set of the movies, especially the Crazies, because I haven't been able to get anybody from the Crazies on here, but I'm going to ask her if she remembers anything from that movie. So it's going to be really, really awesome because it's my 800th episode. I know I say this all the time on every anniversary episode, but I didn't think I was going to get past 10, but I have. 800 episodes, so happy birthday, Splat from the Past. So yeah, here is my interview with Bonnie Hinzman.
Hello?
Hey Bonnie, welcome to the show.
Hi, Tommy. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you. Technically a second time because of our conversation the other day.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Oh, so there's always dogs barking. One time I had birds chirping in the background.
Well, I live in the country. I almost sat outside, but the neighbor's working in the yard, and it's too loud.
Oh, that can happen, yeah. Well, this is such a great honor. Thank you for taking the time today.
Happy to help. Hope I can answer some questions that you may have.
Mm-hmm.
Hope I can answer some of the questions you may have.
Yeah. So going back in time, how did you meet Bill?
I started working at the Latent Image in about 1970.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I had been working at an advertising agency and went to work at the Latent Image when George's wife at that time left the advertising agency and also worked there. So I was there that's where I met Bill when we were at the Latent Image. It was a Girl Friday. They always had a girl working at the desk there, and before me was Judy Ridley and then Judy Soderquist, and when I got there, they were filming There's Always the Noah.
Right. So he had already done Night of the Living Dead with George and all that by the time you met him.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't meet Bill until then, and we weren't married until 1972.
Mm-hmm. But it was
Here we did the Crazies.
Yeah, but it was love at first sight, right?
Well, we were good friends first, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. It's always a good thing when you meet first. Yeah.
And it truly was like a family working there. I like to think I grew up at the Latent Image.
Yeah, I mean, all the people I've interviewed that worked with George told me that it was like one big family, a lot of camaraderie and stuff.
Absolutely, and he was quite the teacher, and everybody just loved him.
Mm-hmm. Well, so what did Bill do before he got involved with George?
Well, many years ago, Bill worked with the fellas from the Latent Image. He was a still photographer, basically. Then he left for a while and did some other work, and that's when he came back to the Latent Image around the same time I started working there. But he had been associated with them for many years prior to that. Mm-hmm.
And he'd always wanted to be involved in film?
Yes, he was a still photographer originally, and then and lighting, did a lot of lighting and still photographs. And then he and George clicked really well for filming. And when George was directing, he would have Bill shoot sometimes second camera, and then by the time we did the Crazies, Bill was the cinematographer for that.
Nice, nice. Did he come from a family of photographers?
Not at all.
He was the only one.
His father was an electrician.
Mm-hmm. So he was the only photographer in the family.
Yes, he was.
Nice, nice. So yeah, he got to be a camera assistant on Night of the Living Dead, and there's, of course, he played a very memorable zombie in the beginning of the film. And I was reading that he was trying to break the car window with a rock, and it flew out of his hand and almost hit George.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a true story. Yeah.
Yeah. He thought he injured him, right?
I think so. And actually, I think the scene in the cemetery scene was shot later in the film.
Mm-hmm.
And they used Bill because he was so thin at the time.
Because he was so thin.
He made a good zombie, that's for sure.
Yeah. And he was young too, but they did a good job of making him look like an older zombie too.
Right. Well, he had that short, the style then, that short haircut, and he was very thin. When we married, he was still very thin.
Mm-hmm. And then I heard another story that he saved Gary Striner, who was on fire.
Yes, I just recently heard that up in Evans City. I hadn't heard that story. When I heard Gary telling that tale. Wow,
so it was brand new to you. So he didn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't one of those things he told you about. I mean, when I hear a story like that, it's no surprise to me that on IMDb it says specifically that Bill was a man of great character and generosity.
Oh, everybody really liked him. And when he did the show, it actually was my idea. I said to him, Bill, why don't you dress up in costume at least one of the days? And people loved that. So when he would do the shows,
mm-hmm.
he would one day wear one, and he would do up his own makeup and sign autographs in costume, and did a lot of photographs with people.
Yeah, he liked the fans?
He loved them, yes.
Oh. So he was a grip on There's Always Vanilla, which I still haven't seen, but many have told me that's the one movie George wished he could do over again.
That's the film that they were shooting whenever I came to work there, and Ray Lane was his actor, and Judy, who was the young girl in Night of the Living Dead,
mm-hmm.
was his wife. She was the lead in There's Always Vanilla. Beautiful, beautiful gal.
Yeah, it's a dramatic film, right?
I guess that's how you would.
Yeah, because it's definitely not a horror film.
It was something totally different than horror.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember many things from the set?
From that particular set, not so much, because they were finishing up that film when I came to work there.
Oh, okay. So you got there when post-production had started then.
Correct. And probably some extra pickup scenes and such, but I wasn't on set at all on that film.
Oh, okay. And then the next film was Season of the Witch. Did you have anything to do with that?
For some reason, I think that came after the Crazies. But maybe no. I guess you're correct. I got to work on that film, and Bill Sundhurst, who was in that film, was working at the Lake Nimage at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Joetta was in it, and Ray Lane was in that film also.
Mm-hmm. I interviewed.
I was filming on that one, and he did a little bit part in that also. Again, Like even when we filmed the Crazies, the crew was 15 people.
Yeah.
And some of the soldiers were gripped. And I even got to wear one of those white suits and ride the helicopter. And it was different than filmmaking is today.
Oh, by far. Yeah, I mean, you could have non-union members back then and have a small crew like that, and it was just guerrilla filmmaking, as they called it.
And they could change hats and do it was very nice.
Yeah, I had Joanna on last year as her first podcast interview ever. She was very sweet.
Yes. They're all great.
Mm-hmm. Now, getting into the Crazies, which you were the script girl on, what exactly is a script girl?
Well, I think by today's standards, I tell my daughter's in the industry also, but I sat next to the camera, and as George was directing, Bill was shooting, I had to keep a log sheet following the script and mark on the log sheet if it was a close-up, if it was a wide shot, so that when the log sheet went with that particular reel of film, and then when the film came back to George and he was editing, he could follow those notes.
Oh, okay.
So now they call it script continuity. Those women sit in front of a monitor, and it's still, Heidi, my daughter told me it's still pretty much the same, but that's how it was for me.
Mm-hmm. And you were there every day?
I wasn't there at the beginning of the filming. They brought me in later. After the burning of the house, I was up to visit on that one, and then they had me come later in the filming. And then to finish up.
And Bill was the director of photography on it and stuff. How was the shoot overall?
It was a lot of fun. We stayed in a little motel up in Zelienople, and it was cold when we first started. It was spring. But by the time we finished, the weather had changed, and it became warm. Was it
a lot of night shooting?
We did some nights. The cement, did you see the film?
Oh, yes.
When she was in the block, that was very cold that night, with the concrete block place.
Yeah, I could just imagine a movie like this, especially when there's a lot of night shooting. It's just all about survival.
It was cold. It was very cold.
It was very cold, yeah. Because I know that when George made Dawn of the Dead, that was a very chaotic shoot.
At the mall?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, at the mall, it was very chaotic. They were working 16, 20-hour days, and there was just one take after another, and there was a lot of blood that they made. Yeah, that's why the movie is so comic booky, like it is. But I heard that there was an issue with the city of Evans City involving the end of the Crazies, where Colonel Peckham was naked.
I didn't hear that problem. The problem that we had was that morning that we were in downtown Evans City at 4 a.m. There were the shots on the railroad tracks, and then the soldiers ran into town and were shooting rifles. That's what they were upset about, because it was like Sunday morning and they were firing rifles and things.
Yeah, but they were shooting that scene, and the locals thought it was so offensive that George had to get lawyers involved. That's what it said on IMDb. But of course,
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I mean, how accurate is IMDb?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, who knows? That could just be a fable out there. Who knows? Did you interact with Lynn Lowry?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Has she been on your show also? And I just saw her at the Evans City this year.
Yeah, she almost was, and then she made a book deal, and she had to not do interviews for a while during it and stuff. I still haven't had her on yet. But what's she like?
She was very nice, quiet gal.
She's quiet.
Very quiet.
Mm-hmm. How about Lane Carroll?
Yes. And am I right that she just took ill? Did she pass away?
She did.
Yeah, right before she was to come to Evans City.
Yeah.
And she never did the shows, and everybody was just heartsick to hear that.
Yeah, the moment I heard that she was booked, I reached out to her. I never heard back, and then a month later, she passed.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I don't know that she had been sick. Was it something sudden? I don't remember.
I didn't hear anything about how she died, but I just know that she did, and it was pretty sad, you know. That's the second time that's happened to me with a Romero person. The day that I decided I was going to reach out to Joe Pilato to interview him is the day that I found out he passed. It's a curse, yeah. But yeah. So was there a rap party for the movie?
No, we didn't do those things.
Really?
And you know what? Too, at the end of the film, Bill ended up finishing it up because George had to leave. His son was born.
Oh, really?
Yes, it was the beginning of June, and George's son was born.
Yeah, George.
So the scenes, like whenever they were scavenging in the cars and stuff, those little pickup scenes that he let Bill finish that up so he could get home because his son was born.
Oh. Yeah, George Jr., he's got a podcast that just started on YouTube that's starting to get a following.
Mm-hmm.
Called the Indie Brigade. Yeah, I watch it sometimes. And he's a filmmaker in his own right.
Yes, I've never had the opportunity to meet him.
Mm-hmm. Did you go to a screening for the Crazies?
Yes.
And
well, they didn't have a premiere or anything like that.
Yeah. But what was the audience reaction? Did they get the movie?
I think so. You mean up the screening up in Evans City?
Yeah.
Yes. So we had that screening. That was a lot of fun. Yes, they did, and we had a Q&A afterwards. Richard France was there, and Lane Carroll was there. No, not Lane. Lynn Lowry was. Lynn and Mr. French were there.
Mm-hmm. I tried to look for Richard France, and I couldn't find him and stuff. But yeah, hopefully someday I'll get somebody that's still alive from the movie on and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the remake?
We liked it a lot. Bill and I saw it, and we liked it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like it?
Not as much. I love the original more.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Did you think they did a good job with it? And
yeah, we thought they did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some people, who do a certain movie and then it gets remade later, they're very critical of the remake. I've found, but that's good that he liked it.
He did. He thought it was well done, and he liked the one actor in it. He was at the time on a television show, but I forget the name of the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Show that we followed.
It was a show that you guys followed.
I don't remember it. I don't remember the name of it, but he was one of the lead actors in the remake.
Oh, Timothy Oliphant? Could it be him?
I think maybe that's who it is. Was he on another show at the time? A television show?
He was on Justified.
Yes, that's who it is.
Yes.
Yes, that's exactly who it was. And Bill liked that show, too.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Now, Bill became a filmmaker in his own right later on. But I'm curious, why did he cut ties with George and not work on any of his other movies after that?
I think it was with all of the people that worked at the Late Image, there were ups and down times in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think there was any ill feelings between people. I think they went and did different projects just to survive for their families. Bill made some educational films, and he made a feature, and Russell and Jack did some other projects, and George had moved on to some different things, and it's very nice now that George's widow has brought so many people back together for some of the projects that she's been doing. It's been nice to see everyone again.
Mm-hmm. Suzanne, I've talked to her. She's doing the George Romero Foundation.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Very
that's...
nice gal. Very nice.
She is very nice, and I think that's wonderful what she's doing, keeping his memory alive. And she did it so quickly after he passed, too.
I agree. I agree. And as I said, she's brought some people back together that haven't seen each other in so many years.
Yeah. So was there a period after that where you two struggled?
Oh, for sure. The industry is tough.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys try to move to Los Angeles to get work out there?
My brother always used to say Bill should have done that, but Bill had a son here in the Pittsburgh area, and he never wanted to leave. So, and we love it here. My daughter lives in L.A.,
mm-hmm.
in AD, so that's where she needs to be to work.
Yeah. So you two decided to stay in Pennsylvania, and he was doing the documentaries, you said?
He did children's films and documentaries. He taught for a little while, too, at the school Savini is associated with.
Right.
And now I think it has George's name attached to it. He taught there for a while. Never wanted to leave here.
Are you talking about Carnegie Mellon?
No. It was, remember the name of the school? It's a film school that Tom Savini opened. He taught the special effects and makeup, and then it's in Monessen, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
His name is associated with it, too.
Oh, okay. But the first movie that Bill directed was the John Russo novel and script, The Majorettes.
Yes. And I did choreography on that, and my daughter was a little girl at the time. She was a little girl majorette.
Did John just call him up and ask him if he wanted to do it?
I think they'd always stayed in touch, back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's nothing really written about the movie's production that's on IMDb. What do you remember from it?
From the majorette?
Yeah.
It was shot in Bill's hometown of Coriopolis at Cornell High School, and some of the scenes were at our home in Moon Township.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that film?
I saw a little bit of it on YouTube.
Uh-huh. It was a slasher.
Yeah.
A lot of our neighbors were in it. Friends and neighbors were in it. And our home, as I said, neighbor's home.
Yeah.
It was done locally, too, and a small crew, once again.
Mm-hmm. Did it get a good distribution?
I believe it did. Bill's film, The Majorettes, did very well. Not The Majorettes, FleshEater.
FleshEater, yeah. Yeah, I was watching a little bit of The Majorettes the other night on YouTube, and I liked it for what I saw and stuff, you know. I'm surprised I didn't see it before. You know, I used to see those little horror movies on USA Up All Night back in the 90s when I was a kid. And maybe I did see it and I just don't remember, you know, then. But I liked it. I even recognized Bill Mott, who later became a regular of George and John's movies in the 90s and stuff. And then, so he did FleshEater after that. What do you remember about that movie?
Well, again, that was shot out here in Beaver County more at a friend's farm. Did you see that film? A lot of people get a tickle out of that one.
I didn't get to see that one, though. But I did read, though, that Bill ate a real pig's heart. Is that true?
I don't think so. That's what they used in Night of the Living Dead. They went to the slaughterhouse and got innards and stuff for that film.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember Bill eating a pig heart. No.
Yeah, it said on there that he had eaten a pig's heart without even knowing, and then They used like a reaction shot of him after he found out that it was a real pig's heart, and that's why it looked so genuine in that scene.
From Night of the Living Dead?
And then FleshEater.
Oh, I don't remember that either.
Huh. That could be just another one of those stories.
Mm-hmm.
If it is, I apologize for
That's okay.
repeating those.
It may be true. I was home with our daughter at the time, so I was there, but I didn't actually work every day on set.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of friends were in that film also, and again, that was shot at a friend's farm out here in Beaver County.
Yeah, I just love that camaraderie that you guys had with everybody. You know, that's just it's missing in today's horror when it comes to local people getting together and making a horror movie and stuff. You know, it's like they work with they only work with the same set of people only once. You know, and there's a lot of it seems like a lot of negativity and backstabbing in today's horror.
Oh, that's sad to hear.
Yeah. That's what it seems like, But then there's certain rare cases where a filmmaker is casting some of the same people over and over again, but it's very rare. I mean, George and John and Bill, I mean, they had camaraderie with the people they worked with, and it should be an example to today's horror filmmakers, I think.
Well, the industry is so much bigger now. Of course, right now it's kind of scary for them all.
The internet.
And we don't know how things are going to play out in this next year.
Yeah.
For them all going back to work. Any of us going back to work. I still work part-time.
Mm-hmm. What do you do? What do you do part-time?
I teach dance.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because you mentioned you were choreographer on that one film. Yeah. Have you been dancing your whole life?
Yes, probably since I was a little girl, and then I became a teacher, and I still even taught when I was working at the Lake Nimage.
Mm-hmm. Did you have ballet aspirations or Broadway or anything like that?
No, and I'm not real tall. I don't have a ballerina body, but I love that.
Dancing, yeah. So after FleshEater, did Bill just have enough of movie making and decided that he wasn't going to do it anymore?
I think it was more financial. I said he did his children's films and he did some commercials, but no more features after that. No.
Yeah, did he put his own money into those movies?
In the FleshEaters?
Yeah.
FleshEaters was money raised from friends and family.
Mm-hmm. But he didn't put his own money, and so it wasn't like it was a financial thing.
No. None of the guys ever had a whole lot of money.
Yeah, I can imagine. Especially with the kind of movies they made, and trying to get them funded and stuff.
Now, Bill did work for a gentleman by the name of Chris McIntyre, who lived in Studio City, and he did Baskin's Run with him and Star of Jaipur.
Mm-hmm.
He shot for them. Chris McIntyre passed away also. Bill also shot some parts of Langoliers at one time.
Mm-hmm.
So he still was working, but he didn't do another big project of his own.
Yeah. When he passed, was it expected?
He was diagnosed in October and gone by February.
Oh.
Rectal cancer. It was awful.
Oh, my God. And was he pretty brave about it, that he was willing to accept it?
I think we kept thinking, he was going to get better. This time, now they can take care of things like that. But he got sick really fast.
Oh, that's devastating. Yeah. Oh my God. And was there ever a film he wanted to make that he never got to?
I think he was in the talking with people to maybe to do FleshEater too. He talked about maybe doing that.
Yeah. Now, when George passed, how did you find out?
Just it was on the news. I think that's how we found out.
Mm-hmm. And your immediate reaction was that it took you back to when Bill passed. It was just devastating.
Yes. It's just it's hard to explain. It's hard to, when you're going through that and taking care of somebody who's so sick, it's hard to remember the good things. It takes a long time.
Mm-hmm.
To not feel sad. And it's hard. You just didn't expect it to happen.
Yeah.
Thinking that they're going to get better. It's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm. Time heals all wounds.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with that. Do you have a...
He's sure so proud of his daughter, though, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I can imagine. I was looking at her IMDb credits, and she's done a lot of work.
Mm-hmm. She's a busy gal.
Mm-hmm. I'm very happy that she could connect us too. You know. Do you have a favorite of the movies that Bill and George made together? Would it be the Crazies?
Probably the Crazies, but they did those sports films too that were good, and some of the commercials.
Mm-hmm.
George is, like I said, he was such a good teacher also. His editing style was amazing, and Bill learned that from him. But I guess the Crazies will always be special because that's when Bill and I started dating, and then we were married shortly after, and George was our best man.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably the one I would have to say is special.
Yeah, The Crazies is a great movie. It's. I mean, who else would think of an idea like that? You know, having a killer and gas mask like that. You know, and radiation suit and stuff. I mean, that's a brilliant idea. So you've mentioned about Living Dead Weekend and that screening you went to. How was the turnout of that?
It wasn't as large as they had hoped. It was well attended. Now that Pittsburgh is doing 2 shows a year, the one in Evans City is not as large as the one in Monroeville.
Right.
The Monroeville one seems to bring in more people. And it's nice that they are introducing some of the other films, too, to bring in another group of actors and actresses for people to meet.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
Yeah. Are you just amazed at how the Crazies and all of Romero's movies in general just are loved today?
I see the fans when I used to go to the shows with Bill. And the fans are great people, too.
Yeah.
And I think people always love war films.
Yeah. I mean, it starts, you know, with the children, you know, who love ghost stories, you know, and when they become horror fans, you know, it's because of that, you know.
I wasn't allowed to watch things like that when I was little.
Yeah.
And there I married a zombie. But Bill used to sit with Heidi and watch scary things and tell her how they did it. She was never afraid, never had nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
How the films were done, technically. And
oh, that's sweet. That's really sweet. It sets a precedent of her present career. You know.
Mm-hmm. She grew up with it.
Mm-hmm. She knew what she wanted to do from the very beginning.
From the very beginning, yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. So you live a quiet life in Pennsylvania, and you still teach dance, you said?
Yes. I live in the country. We used to have horses and cows. I still have chickens. But it's very nice here.
Mm-hmm.
and I teach dance in Moon Township, which is near the Greater Pittsburgh Airport. And so I do travel a little ways to get to work.
Mm-hmm. But everything is great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful, Bonnie. God bless you. And I'm so glad that you could come on today and be my 800th guest.
Well, thank you.
I wanted to keep that a surprise until the very end.
Well, thank you so very much, and I wish you the very best.
Oh, thank you, Bonnie. Yes, I'm just so lucky with the people that I get to interview like yourself, and I hope after this quarantine is over, Living Dead Weekend will continue and stuff, and hopefully I'll be able to make it out there, and hopefully they'll ask you back.
Even if they don't invite me as a guest because I wasn't as involved in some of the other films, I usually like to go up and see everybody.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have yourself a great day. God bless you. And
thank you. Very best wishes to you also.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Bonnie Hinzman. Ain't she a sweetheart? What a great lady, I mean, she got to go on this roller coaster ride of the Romero camp, and after the loss of both Bill and George, she's still out there going. Great perseverance story, wonderful lady. I like her a lot. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, add me as a friend on Facebook, join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Later, dudes.